Hello, welcome everyone to the June 21st edition of the Songwriter stream. As usual, Jason and I are here, the third Tuesday of the month, of course. Tonight, Victor is not with us. He double booked himself. He's doing some outdoor music festival in New York City called Make Music New York, which happens the first day of summer every year. And in his place, we have Jeremy Ain, one of Victor's collaborators from a different live stream, Live Music Monday. As usual, we have two fantastic guest musicians for you tonight, Heather Conrad and Chloe Hennessee. We'll get to know all of our performers as the next 2 hours go along, but for right now, we're going to dive right into the music, starting with Chloe Hennessee.
Hello, everyone. So the first song I'm going to play is called One Day at a Time, and I wrote this about kind of thinking about the future, so yeah. Do you hear me humming just like a bird? To articulate how often I debate if I'm actually fine. I guess I'll just take it one day at a time.
Beautiful, wow.
Awesome. Gorgeous.
Chloe, is the name of that song One Day at a Time?
Yes, it is.
And where are you right now? Your apartment looks beautiful.
Oh yeah, this is my parents' apartment, so there might be some background noise because everyone's home, but
Is that the same apartment where the Musicians of New York house concerts take place?
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Ah, I could see the appeal. All right, thank you. For those of you tuning in at home, this is the Songwriter Stream. This is something that we put on the third Tuesday of every month. Myself and Jason, two of the three regular hosts, joined tonight by Chloe Hennessee, who just began our program with her song One Day at a Time. Up next, we have the second of our special guests this month, who's streaming with us all the way from the wilderness of New Jersey. We have Heather Conrad.
Thank you, Phil. Hi, everyone. Yes, the wilderness. My palm tree behind me with lights on it. That is how wild things are here. I'm at the top of the Jersey Shore, so not that far away. But this song is a song I wrote called "The Girl He Needs," and I'll leave it at that and play it for you. She likes to think his love is all she'll ever need. She sells her soul a little every day, she believes. He holds her close, a willing hostage to his fears. In his arms, the girl she used to be disappears. The months they turn to years. I wanna tell that girl she cannot be the girl he wants and thinks he needs. Though she tries, she can't deny the voice she's had to hide. It's buried deep inside her all along, but it's been silent for too long. It's the sound of her own song. Sound of a song. The Savior's face she wears for him won't help her find a way. Across an empty canyon echo the words she cannot say. She can't keep up the rhythm of this dance of love and fear. She's already gone and turns out he was never here. She's gotta tell him she can never be the girl he wants and thinks he needs. Though she tries, she can't deny the voice she's had to hide. It's crying out inside her to be heard. If only she can find the words to her song. It's the sound, hear that sound, what's that sound? Listen girl, it's time to leave, save all your apologies. Only crime was wanting to believe. When you give yourself away, it isn't worth the price you pay. Trust yourself and don't look back to grieve. Be who you were born to be, instead of some facsimile. Find the words that set you free. If I listen close and listen closer, I can hear your voice get bolder. Sing it out, I wanna hear you say. Now I know I'll never be the girl he wants and thinks he needs. Now I'll never try to hide the voice I found inside. It's rising up inside me like a tide, a raging river deep and wide. I'll sing it loud, sing it strong. Ooh, it's the sound of my own song.
Yeah.
Woo!
Love that tune. Always love it when I hear it.
Thank you.
I feel like the stream could end right now, and it will have been a satisfying experience. That song just took me on a whole journey.
Oh, well, thank you. I'll tell you, I mean, it is not an autobiographical song, but it is the story of a journey that I've been on. So, I guess that's my job, right? Share my journey with you. So,
Absolutely.
there it is.
But no one's ever going to believe you that it's not autobiographical.
What I will call it is autobiographical fiction. I mean, I think that's like what all my songs really are. I mean, and maybe this is true for all songwriters, right? I mean, like,
Definitely
it's not
for me.
a story. What's that?
Definitely for me. I
Yeah.
embellish things. Just almost the
Yep.
bringing out more of the emotion of it, bringing out the theatricality of it, perhaps.
And I think it's a mosaic for me too, right? Like, it's never just one story. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there are pieces of that song that are absolutely true that happened to me, but it isn't just one person. It's like, it's a mosaic of experiences that I've had that have woven into a single narrative. So there isn't one experience that I had that matches that story, but it's absolutely, like, pieces and parts of it are true, and then they all fit together,
Yeah.
So,
Why let facts stand in the way of truth?
exactly. Yeah,
All
there's
right,
no question
so-
that the song is true. It is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, tuning in, that was Heather Conrad, the second of our 3 special guests tonight. Up next, joining us for the first time, is some guy named Jeremy Ain. And how do we know him? Our co-host Victor screwed up his schedule, couldn't appear tonight, and last minute he asked his buddy / co-songwriter / fellow musician who does Live Music Mondays, Jeremy,
The now
to fill in
defunct
for him.
Live Music Mondays, unfortunately, but
Aw.
or at least on hiatus. So we'll see.
I guess you'll have to start doing it in person again rather than the live streams.
It'll be difficult for me because I'm on Cape Cod and they're in New York City, but I can be there in spirit certainly. Or I could just
Oh,
do my
so
own Live Music Mondays for the turkeys,
Turkeys make a great audience. So you're streaming
be
with us from Cape
surprised.
Cod?
I am.
Oh, I was not aware.
Miraculously, we do have internet out here. So,
All right, well, take it away, Jeremy.
all right. Well, this is a song I wrote with Mr. Victor B. Gurbo called Big Blue World Blues that some of you may have heard before. I want to come back as your old tomcat, live out in Queens in a big old flat, sleep on your bed right by your head. I want to come back as your old tomcat. I don't want another go as your old banjo. Don't want to be king or Henry David Thoreau. You could pick my string, really hear me sing. I want another go as your old banjo. Big blue world, you must be lonely. Spin like a top out in space. Oh, won't you be my one and only? 'Cause honey, let me back in your embrace. If I could start anew, get back with you, throw out the past like an old tissue. We'd raise the dead, forget the things we said. If I could start anew, find my way back to you. Big blue world, you must be lonely. Spin like a top out in space. Oh, won't you be my one and only? 'Cause honey, let me back in your embrace.
Yeah. Woo! What a great songwriting team you guys are. Fantastic.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
It's great.
Jeremy, do you have many collaborations with, many co-writes with Victor, or just the one?
We have a new song that is almost done, and we're working on some others, so maybe an album
Fantastic.
could come out of it at some point.
And what's cool is
well-
you guys are working on it remotely for the most part.
I know,
right?
right? We've never actually met in person, but pretty
Wow.
unbelievable.
And
You're gonna meet in
I
person during the CD release.
Is it rude to Victor if I say I'm envious of you, Jeremy? I was there at Victor's triumphant Carnegie Hall concert on June 2nd, and I can confirm that he did, in fact, perform that song.
It was great.
Yeah,
the full band.
the whole thing. I wish I could have been there if I'd been, within less than a 12-hour trip. I think I would have made it, but
Yeah.
it sounded like it was
Well,
quite a night.
Your baby grew up and made it all the way to Carnegie Hall.
Yeah.
So while you were performing, you had some fans chime in on Facebook. Ryan, Juliet, and Jennifer Lipman loved your performance.
That's great. That is my sister and my nephew and my niece. So that's
Nice.
All
If I
right.
can't please them, I can't please anyone. So
Right.
thanks. Guys.
Well, thanks for being here, man. It was fantastic.
Thank you guys.
All
I
right,
hope the stream
Ryan.
doesn't end now, even though it's been good for Phil. But
Well, if it did end now, I would be satisfied. But let's get some more songs out of all of us. So Ryan, Juliet, and Jennifer, stick around. We're going to go till 9 o'clock. We'll get 2 or 3 more songs out of Jeremy. So we just heard from Chloe, Heather, and Jeremy, our 3 special guests tonight. So now I'm going to take a turn, myself and Jason. We're here every month. We're like the boring old news. So here's one of my favorite songs to open up sets with. I wrote the music in college and I wrote the lyrics recently, and this depicts my lifelong struggle with insomnia. When other people normal, functional human beings are sleeping at night, I lie awake all night in a state of perpetual existential crisis. This is a song about that. This is called Late at Night. Late at night, toss and turn, never sleep, never learn, all alone in my bed, too many thoughts inside my head, all the things I should have done, all the things I should have said, going through all my mistakes, lying there wide awake, twisted sheets, damp with sweat, running through all my regrets, work so hard every day, and it all just slips away, chase a dream through the years, still I'm stuck in my own fears, wonder what I do it for, out the bed, out the door, and run past the houses in the cool moonlight breeze. I raise my fist in the air. My nights will be my own again, to do with as I please. This I promise, this I swear. Running hard down the street, devil snapping at my feet. Moon is bright, night is cold, worried that I'm getting old. Out of time, out of breath, one day closer to my death. With existential thoughts and plans, all of life meaningless. Every night just the same, trying to outrun my shame. Still I search and still don't know. One more time, into the night I go. The stars shine above us, bathe us in their glow, secure of their place in the sky. As a creature of this world who struggles down below, how can I be sure of mine? Sometimes I just don't know. How can I be sure of my place in this world? Late at night, toss and turn, never sleep, never learn. Still I search and still don't know. One more time, into the night I go. In the cool moonlight breeze, I raise my fist in the air. My nights will be my own again, to do with as I please. This I promise, this I swear.
Yeah, Phil.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil, this is going to be on your upcoming album, right? Or is that a secret? I didn't know if it was a secret.
Uh-oh.
No. This song is it's gonna be. I spent most of the pandemic recording my debut album as a solo singer-songwriter, a Phil Robinson album as opposed to my band, and this is definitely going to be on it. In fact, it's going to be the first song. It sort of kicks off the story, introduces all the tension, and over the course of the 11 songs on the album, the character hopefully finds some release and resolution by the end of the album, but it sort of kicks off the story, and it might even be the first single from the album coming early next year.
Very cool.
So,
It's a great introduction to your music for sure.
Yeah.
well, thank you. So once again, my name is Phil Robinson. I'm one of the regular monthly hosts of the Songwriter Stream on behalf of Roomful of Sky Music. Every month I'm joined here by Jason Vitelli below me, and usually Victor V. Gurbo, who is missing tonight. And to introduce Jason a little bit more, anything that is the intersection between music and technology, that is Jason's domain. He has his business, Music for Multimedia, and from the technical level, he's the one who produces this live stream. He's manning the consoles, so the five of us could all log in and stream to you on one of the three platforms. So if you're watching us right now, you're either watching us on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. While you're here, please follow, like, subscribe, do all those things. And without further ado, Jason Vitelli.
Awesome. Thank you for the introduction, Phil. And it's always a fun challenge to do these streams because it's a multitasking kind of thing. But I just enjoy hearing all this new music. It's such an inspiration to me. So, and this night is no exception. So I am going to do a song that I wrote a while back, but I haven't done it on the stream yet. So I'm excited to do it. It is called "The Winner." Okay, I'm in tune. Picturing you sitting in the living room, a sense of gloom in that emaciated chair, and overcast sky supplies light for you. And my hands on knees, begging please. What do I need to do to please you? I need you, stirring the storm, misty lows, showering batters, thickening glass windows. Towards eyes so ossified, I thought I saw upon them a smile. It's just a quick and easy fix to a lost and rusty time. A lost and rusty time. Oh, 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 oh. Arrival is beyond the door. He was my friend ages ago, and he understood the reasons behind this game. And it's painful to know it was me and not him that became the roaming soul behind sanded glass, imperfect isolation. So I have neither nor, as the showering batters and the thundering roars, thundering roars. I looked towards eyes so ossified, I thought I saw upon them a smile. It's just a quick and easy fix to a lost an accident, pilfering truth to hold on to your innocent sin. And I say all this, fantasize yet my cries are a fruitless labor to bring you and him back to life, back to life. Torrents paints our rooftops red, swerving their colors gray. That was once to all such a glorious day, glorious day. I looked towards eyes so ossified, I thought I saw upon them a smile. Lost and rusty toy.
Wow, lovely. Good stuff.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate the.
Nice job, Jason.
Thank you.
How many years ago was that song written? I know it's been around a while.
Yeah, it's been around a while. Probably before I made my first album, so it's like
Before
probably 2007. So
It
was
and
it was inspired. It's similar to Heather's song. It was somewhat inspired by real events, but definitely embellished into more of a story that seemed to be more interesting than what was actually going on. But that's kind of, it was the enjoyable process to write about it.
well, to be able to make things more interesting than they actually are is a good characteristic for a writer to have.
But I'd like to say I am friends with both of those people right now as we speak. So we're all winners.
Fantastic. So the sordid drama depicted in the song has a happy ending.
Yes.
All right. Well, just chiming in on the comments, we have our friend Jeff Jacobs. Jeff, we just saw. Actually, Jason, why don't you throw up the porch stomp photo?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's something we all have in common here. So today's the first day of summer. It's Make Music New York, and many of us, 4 out of the 5 of us, participated this past Saturday at Porch Stomp. So you could see most of us there. There's myself. Jason, looking glamorous on the bottom of the photo.
Well, my wife usually comes to events, and she's the flamboyant one, so I had to make up for her energy. So.
All the way on the left, we have Chloe, and that was the first time meeting Chloe in person, although we had a couple streaming events with her over the course of the pandemic. Heather also was a part of this event on Saturday, but she did not arrive early enough for the group photo. And there's Victor.
Victor
who is absent
oversold
tonight.
how short he was. You know, he claimed that when I met him, I would be blown away by how small he is, and I think he's overselling that based on this photo.
Well, that way you could be pleasantly surprised in the right direction if you set your expectations low.
Maybe it's just the hat. I don't know. But.
You know, Mark's pretty tall, so you know he's definitely an average height. You know, but you got Mark next to him.
Yeah, I was picturing Paul Simon. You know.
All right, Jason, please bring us back. So that was Porch Stomp. If you were in the New York area, that's something that happens around this time of year, every year. This is the 9th annual one. And Roomful of Sky Music had our own stage, as we usually do. 3 out of the 4 of us, plus Victor, plus another 7 or 8 songwriters. And Jeff Jacobs, who's chiming in saying hello, was one of them. Hey, Jeff. And Jeff is accusing Jason of upping the diva factor of the photo, and That's true.
And Jeff was even saying to me, he's like, I'm like, how are you? Because he's a very dynamic performer, and I was like, you know, how do you get that energy? And he's just like, he amps it up as much as he possibly can, and I think I really feel that energy coming off of him. He does a great job on stage. So
Yeah. And Shirley just chimed in on the comments.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Shirley. And also chiming in, and he should be ashamed of himself for missing the stream so far, Paul Hennessee, who shares the last name with Chloe Hennessee, asking what he missed. Paul, you missed your daughter's first song of the evening. But it's okay, because this live stream will live forever on the Roomful of Sky YouTube channel, and it will live forever on the Roomful of Sky Facebook page. So if you're like Paul Hennessee, for shame, and you missed the early portion of the stream, you could check it out in its entirety on YouTube. So that concludes our first round around the circle, and we'll continue now. Chloe, please kick off our second trip around the stream.
Hello again.
hello.
The next song I'm going to play is one I wrote called Awake, and it was like the first song that actually got me fully into songwriting, and it's just kind of about New York City and my experience like living and growing up here. So yeah. Stroll through Central Park, make my way through the crowds. Will they finally notice me if I sing out loud on top of Lady Liberty? Reach towards the clouds. I wonder if I leap off, will I land on the ground? Or maybe I'll dreamer in New York City with a chance. Yep.
Yeah, that was great.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
It has a nice bossa nova to it. I like that.
Yeah,
It's
that's
danceable.
what. Yeah, that's what inspired the song. Actually, I was like learning a bossa nova piece, and I was like, I kind of want to write a song with this. So yeah.
Well, you got to get the band. You got to get the bossa nova band. You know, together, with the
Yeah.
percussionists and everything.
Was the name of that song "Awake"?
Yes.
And you could divide your life into before you wrote "Awake" and after you wrote "Awake", because you said that's what got you fully into becoming a songwriter.
Yeah, I like wrote songs when I was in lower school, but they were really bad, so I just didn't write any in middle school. But high school, I wrote "Awake", and I was like, wait, I actually like writing songs, so that's what like got me writing again. So yeah.
Now, were you born in New York City?
Yeah.
So you've never known what it's like to not be here.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's like my wife. She grew up in Yorkville, and she doesn't know how to drive,
I don't know how to drive.
and she doesn't know how to ride a bike.
It's interesting
So,
because that song captures so well what it could feel like to not be a New Yorker and have a dream of living here and capture
Absolutely.
like what New York
Absolutely.
means to someone who sees it as an ideal, like as an
Right.
imagined place.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Well, that's interesting. Why did you choose to write a song from the opposite perspective of your own?
So I originally wrote it for a competition. It was like a songwriting competition for teenagers, and it was basically just write a song about New York. But I didn't really know where to start with it because it like living in New York just feels so normal to me. So I decided to like, at first it was kind of like, what are the expectations of living in New York and like why do people move here? But then it kind of turned into more of like a philosophical thing of like, you know, putting my songs out there and like performing and just like putting myself out there. So I tried to like get that piece across in
I like
the
it.
song.
It's like a rebirth. If you
Yeah.
think, like you redefined yourself, and so now the city's a brand new place because
Yeah,
now you
exactly.
interact with it differently.
Exactly, yeah.
That's so cool. Very cool.
Thank you.
It's almost like you are now awake.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so for those tuning in at home, that was Chloe Hennessee. We are going to move on to the second song of the evening from our second special guest, Heather Conrad.
Oh,
Hi.
and Paul said she won the competition. I'm
Ah,
not surprised.
I was
I'm
gonna
not
ask.
surprised.
I wondered. That's amazing. It's a great song. So that's
congratulations, Chloe.
Thank you.
All right, now Heather is going to play the song that won her a competition.
Nope. I'm gonna play actually. So just to give, my brother and I have spent the last couple of days doing some hard labor emptying out the storage unit that holds my father's things. So we lost our dad almost 5 years ago now, and some of his things have been in storage, and we have been pulling things out. So it is definitely a time, just the last couple days here, for thinking a lot about love and memory and loss. And this song is about all of those things. It's not about my dad, but it is inspired by a memory. After he had passed away, I was thinking back on some of the things that we used to do. And after my parents had been divorced, he would come to see us on the train, and my mom would take us to the train station to meet him, so that we could, he'd spend the weekend with us or whatever. And we were teenagers, so probably too old to be doing this, but we would put coins on the tracks. And then we just thought that was super fun. And then it was like we had a record of each time he came. We had some, smashed up pennies and quarters and stuff like that. And I was thinking about that memory, and that was the seed of this song. And I found out later that my mom, in spite of the fact that my parents were divorced, on our behalf, she kept all of those coins, and she has a big like jar full of smashed pennies and smashed nickels and dimes and quarters from when my father would come to see us on the train. Anyway, this song is called In Between. I'm still in tune. That's good. I keep 2 pennies in my pocket, each one flattened by a train. 1 penny for the train that brought you here to me, a penny for the train you took to leave. I feel them warm between my fingers, worthless coppers so they seem, 2 tiny bookends of a story so precious, keepers of my memories in between. Those precious memories in between. In between the lines is where a story lives. In between 2 hearts we find the love we give. Endings and beginnings happen all the time, but everything that matters comes before the finish line. In between the dawn and dark, we'll have our day. In between the trees, the light shines through. Between the tracks is the path I walk with you. Between the spring and winter comes the green. In between, in between, ooh, in between, da 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 da, ooh, in between. Standing by the track, I watch you go. Will we ever meet again? I still don't know. You vanish in the distance, and I know what goodbye means. But I'm keeping safe what's in between. Those precious memories in between. In between the lines is where a story lives. In between the 2 hearts we find the love we give. Endings and beginnings Between the tracks is the path I walk with you. Between the spring and winter comes the green. In between. In between. Ooh.
That was epic. Epic.
Thank you.
It's like this. I mean, you're original for sure, but there's just so many echoes of like Joni Mitchell when I'm listening to her, and I'm just transfixed by both the beauty of the voice and the story. Yeah. So.
Well,
really
that
cool.
is a compliment.
Yeah,
that I
it
will
definitely-
take. I'll tell you what. I mean, come on. Who doesn't want to be? I mean, I love Joni Mitchell, and one of the things, and Chloe, you do this too, like using our high voices, like that's not a very popular thing to do in pop music right now.
Right.
But I just want to use my whole voice, you know? And Joni Mitchell is a great example of somebody who really
Absolutely.
just did that, right? And of course, I mean, her lyrics, her originality, her sort of genius with chords. I mean,
But she also
I don't
challenged-
pretend you're comparing me to that, but I definitely admire and idolize her. For
She
sure.
definitely challenged herself throughout her career, you know, and,
Yep.
and you could hear it in what she's writing at that moment, and how she evolved. But
Absolutely.
yeah, so.
Yeah, no, that's a model that I hope to follow. Yeah, like just you got to keep pushing that envelope, right? You got to keep learning.
And I also really like the really low part of your register in that song as well.
Totally.
Thank you. Well, that might be my favorite part, but like I love to sing really low and really high and in the middle.
And in between.
And in between, exactly.
I remember you had told me you studied with Barry Harris for a number of years, right?
Yes. So he had a Tuesday night. Yeah, it would be tonight. He had a Tuesday night jazz workshop that started with keyboardists at 6 and then vocalists at 8 or 7:30, I think, and then sort of around 10 o'clock instrumentalists. Other than, I mean, it wasn't just keyboardists. It was like rhythm section, like
Yeah.
all and then at 10 o'clock was kind of solo instrumentalists, and it was the format of that was like a tune. There would be like a tune he would pick for the night, and that would be what we
Right.
worked on. I also sang jazz professionally years and years and years ago, but I had been so far away from it. But I did the Barry Harris workshop for a few years, starting in 2018, just to kind of get myself immersed back in that genre, because to me jazz it's the most challenging, it's the most interesting, it's so varied, and all the things that I learned from it I can bring into my
And all the people to study with Barry Harris was just
Right.
a visionary. I have that, what you're describing, I have that on DVD in a book that I can watch and follow.
Yeah.
So I
I
definitely
would recommend anyone who has any interest just take a listen to that. I don't know, you may or may not know, he passed away in December at the ripe old age of, I think he was 91. Or maybe I've gotten that wrong. I'm sorry. I apologize to anyone who's listening to this if I got his age wrong. I think he was 91 though, and he was somebody who really, really influenced me. He was and the power of the story was everything to him. Mm-hmm. And that's something I think for me as a songwriter, it's being a storyteller. he always talked to us about simplifying and cutting it back and thinking about phrasing in terms of telling a story. And he had so many great things to say, and it was such an amazing community of musicians that that learned from him, and that I learned from them. You know, we learned from each other as a result of that. So, yeah, it was an amazing experience.
Well, thank you, Heather.
Of course.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Heather Conrad. Stick around. Heather's going to have a couple more songs before we're through tonight. For now, we'll keep it moving for Jeremy's second song of the evening.
Okay, this is a song I wrote in 2020, which we all know was a tough year, and it was a tough year for the Earl family, who lost Justin, Steve Earle's son. And I didn't totally put it together until I saw Steve on Saturday night up here at the Payment play an incredible show. I realized that I probably wrote this song for Justin, and it's called No Outlaws in Heaven. Well, it said there's no outlaws in heaven, flying on the wings of the dove. Yes, it said there's no outlaws in heaven, bathed in white light from above. They say there's no outlaws in heaven, mingling with priests and the rest. But I know that there's outlaws in heaven, 'cause angels love outlaws the best. Angels love outlaws the best. Well, I know that when I get to heaven, I'll see Johnny and Waylon and Merle. Yes, I know that George Jones is in heaven, singing with Justin Townes Earl. So when you find your way up to heaven, find me in my golden vest. I know that I'm destined for heaven, 'cause angels love outlaws the best. Angels love outlaws the best.
Yeah.
Woo!
Thanks, you guys.
That's like an instant classic, that one.
Thanks,
I just
I
love
appreciate it.
It's so you said, just so it's clear to me, that was it inspired by Justin, or
Yeah,
you
when I
realized
heard about him
after?
pass. Well, what happened was, I think that I heard about his passing, and I wrote the song shortly after, which is why he's in the lyrics. But I never kind of put it totally together that I think I kind of wrote it for him. So.
And it really speaks to the community of all of those musicians, and how they are there for each other in heaven as they were here.
Elliott Smith once said that if there is a heaven, then George Jones is there singing all the time. So I thought that was a pretty interesting way of looking at it.
Ryan Littman just chimed in again. Great job.
Thank you, Ryan.
Jeremy, which town in Cape Cod are you in?
I'm in Truro, if you know where that is. It's
Sure.
like one town down from Provincetown, all the way on the outer Cape.
And what's the music scene there like? Like, do you play out and do shows?
I'm playing next week on Monday and Wednesday at the Truro Farmers Market and then the Wellfleet Farmers Market, which is always a fun
nice
gig.
to do that during the summer. for
Yeah,
sure.
you get lots of kids and dogs and families. But there's not a Provincetown has sort of like a decent nightlife, but
Yeah.
people up here are really nice. So it's, you sacrifice the sort of immediacy of the city for the quieter pleasures. I like both.
Sure. And being in Cape Cod, how did you connect to the Live Music Mondays scene that's based here in New York?
Well, I lived in New York for most of the last 25 years up until COVID. And then I was in Queens, and it was the epicenter, and I went to live with my sister. And then it stayed bad, and I was paying for an apartment that I wasn't living in, and I gave it up, and then I haven't moved back yet. So maybe I will at some point, I'm not sure, but right now I'm sort of splitting time between Washington, D.C. and Cape Cod. But I've been playing music with Kat and the Sheriff, who you might know, for about 15 years.
Course.
So on the bluegrass scene in New York.
Oh, great.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah. We know Kat and the Sheriff.
Yeah.
Great. Well, if you ever make your way back to New York,
This
get in
fall,
touch with us
yeah, definitely this fall, I'm gonna get up there. So would love to play some shows with you guys, hang out, jam, whatever.
That'd be great. That'd be fantastic.
yeah, we'll include you in something like this in person at one of our venues.
That would be wonderful.
Great.
Phil.
Cool.
All right, so that brings us to my turn. I am still Phil Robinson, and
What? You're still Phil
I
Robinson?
am. I'm gonna do my signature song, which I don't think I have done on a stream recently, but I did perform it on Saturday at Porch Stomp.
It's a good porch stomp song too. It's a good stomper. I think it's like a good,
How did you determine it's your signature song? Did someone else tell you that, or was that self-proclaimed?
Probably a combination of both. As a entertainer, I'm not above mythologizing or hyping myself. So I think I suggested that it was my signature song, and then the audience agreed with me. So it is. So all right, what is this song about? I'm going to do my song Transcendental Cowboy, which I just recorded. This is going to be on my album also. And it came from a lot of angles. It's really just a silly, fun song to do live. The idea of it was, growing up with a lot of insecurities, I learned in grammar school that the best way to defend yourself from people teasing you is to beat them to the punch and, I guess, proclaim the thing that they would tease you about first, and then they don't have the chance to call you out on it because you already called yourself out on it. So in a silly way, I just kind of thought all of the things that I perceived people would make fun of my public persona, I kind of made a silly song out of it. So, particularly in college, I was very pretentious, using colorful language and big words.
As we all were.
I'm obsessed with Bruce Springsteen, so I thought if I have a song, my first song on my first album, I proclaim myself to be a Bruce Springsteen wannabe, I will beat all of the critics to the punch. So I threw a bunch of that kind of stuff in the song, and it's just the fun audience sing-along number. So Transcendental Cowboy. But for this song, now, Jason, usually you mute all of the other people on the stream. For now, please don't mute anyone, because I'm going to call on the four of you, Heather, Chloe, Jeremy, and Jason, to be my audience. And your part is to shout, "Hell yeah!"
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah.
Very
Hell
good.
yeah.
All right, let's try that one more time. I did not do a good job of bringing you into it. Could I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah.
That's your part. You will know when you're supposed to do the hell yeah. This is Transcendental Cowboy. All right. I'm a transcendental cowboy with the existential blues. Here's a solipsistic meta-transcendental news. It's more than just one recipe, girl, feel good about what you choose. So when it comes down to do what you gotta do, you can read a book by Sartre, read a book by Camus. There's 1,000 different faces out there and 1,000 points of view. If seeing is believing, get ready, your hands up in the air and say, hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
Yeah!
I'm a transcendental cowboy with the existential blues. Here's a solipsistic meta-transcendental news. It's more than just a recipe, girl, feel good about what you choose. So when it comes down to do what you gotta do, you can light yourself some candles, light up someone's eyes, go back to the 60s right now, retro psychedelicize. Close feeling is, get ready, throw your hands up in the air and say, hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
I'm a transcendental, existential, sentimental, solipsistic, lower upper middle class, white bread, suburbanistic, went away to school and how my world irritated. Some would even say slightly overeducated, try and find a way to set myself free. In my heart of hearts, just a Bruce Springsteen wannabe, working all day and singing all night, doing alright. Go! Existential blues. Here's a solipsistic meta-transcendental news. It's more than just a recipe, girl, feel good about what you choose. So when it comes down to do what you gotta, when it comes down to do what you gotta, when it comes down to do what you gotta do. If you're having a good time on tonight's Songwriter stream, let me get one final hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
All right.
Good stuff.
That was fun, man.
All right.
A lot of
Thank
four-syllable
you.
words in there, Phil. It's impressive. You can remember all that.
You got a lot of people commenting hell yeah too, so
Hell yeah.
it's coming
Heck
through.
yes. Paul Hennessee always has to be the Weisenheimer with a heck yes.
Here's another
Paul.
four-syllable word.
Yeah. Paul, while I have your attention, we want to get you on our live stream or at one of our live shows.
Paul
we
does
always
music
try to.
too.
Paul is a fantastic singer, musician. He's in the Urban Coyotes. He does a lot. I've been trying to book him for one of our things for years, and he always has the same response, which is, "Don't take me, take my daughter Chloe instead." Well, Chloe's done a few things with us already, but we're holding out for Paul.
He's a good
My
guy.
dad said he wants to do Porch Stomp next year. So hopefully.
All right.
Yeah.
We're going to hold you to it, Paul. We're going to hold you to it. All right. Thank you for listening. That was I'm Phil Robinson with Transcendental Cowboy. And coming up next, we have the fifth of our second circle around the circle, Jason Vitelli.
Yeah, Phil, I really like the idea of you know that you made a signature. Well, you didn't even realize probably it was your signature song until after you wrote it, right? Or maybe you didn't while you were writing it. I wasn't not entirely sure, but it's...
I think I did. It's no secret that I basically am obsessed with and copy everything that Bruce Springsteen does. He portrays himself as a larger than life character in some of his early autobiographical songwriting, like calling himself the Cosmic Kid or things like that. So I always thought of myself as the transcendental cowboy.
Yeah, even the way he sang, it was this more theatrical in a way, like like he was a character. I felt character, like he was playing other characters sometimes.
It was almost like a superhero in a secret identity.
Yeah.
You know, the mild-mannered person you are in your day-to-day life, but then you get up on stage and you pick up your guitar and you're like...
But I think it's also an ode. It's an ode to not take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
You think so?
Absolutely. It's impossible to take yourself seriously with that song. Yeah.
But I think that's a lesson for all of us. Because I know when I was young, I took myself way too seriously, and I was miserable because of it. So.
And I knew you when you were young, and I'm not going to argue
when I was
with you.
miserable. So okay, I was trying to think of a good song. Maybe I'll do a ballad after all that energy. This one I wrote a while ago.
Hey,
too.
wait, Jason. Before you get started, you still have my name up on there.
Oh. I think it's subliminal, isn't it?
There you go.
Want to be Phil. Thank you, Phil. So this song, I wrote it about a first date, but it was a while ago when I wrote it, back when like Match.com was like the thing, which is very different dating nowadays. But it's just wanting to put your best self in front for someone to get their first impression of you. So it's called Suit. Patience never bid me well, shoves me into a corner. No response, so must call on her and make this time illuminate. I'll make it shine for free. Will she shine for me? And maybe I'll discover once in a while a little piece of heaven latent in a smile. And maybe I could wrench free any moment I wish. Box it up, put it in the best suit I could find. While pacing to and fro, I decide to take a shower. Spindly cold does not bother. Razor clears my scuffed malaise. She'll make me into Ramus. Could she be my Venus? And maybe as could all of treasure resurfacing our wake. And maybe I could rent free any moment I wish. Box it up, put it in the best suit I could find. Surfacing our wake, and maybe discover once in a while a little piece of heaven latent in a smile. And maybe I could rent free any moment I wish. Box it up, put it in the best suit I can find. Thank you.
Jason, I don't think I've heard that song in a while.
Yeah, it's not one I perform very often, but I do enjoy what it evokes an earlier time in my life in a certain respect. Though you always want to put your best foot forward. Any kind of like interview, any sort of first impression you want to make. In the dating world, it teaches you how to do that, I guess you could say. But it also tells you to manage your expectations sometimes as to what you're going to find on the other side of it. But yeah, I guess here's the thing. You want to put your best foot forward, but then you want that person to put their best foot forward. So like, I'm going to put on my suit of armor or whatever. I'm going to put on my suit. I'm going to make myself look good, but you do that for me. And there's something gratifying about two people being able to do that for each other. Even being married for as long as, I haven't been married very long, but I've been with Lisa for a long time. But the few times you go on like date night or something like that, it's actually very special, because you think when you're with someone, especially living with someone, you don't, most of the time are not dressed up for anything or for each other. So it's really nice to be able to dress for each other. It's like almost reawaken something. So anyway, that's my spiel on that tune.
And Ruth, someone by the name of Ruth Trenery just chimed in, and she doesn't remember that one.
Oh. Well, Ruth is my mother-in-law, so. So she's a big fan. She's very sweet. She watches the show all the time.
Yeah. Hi, Ruth. All right. So that was Jason Vitelli. We've each done a couple songs. We're each going to do at least one more. Some of our special guests will probably do a couple. So let's kick off our next round around the circle with Chloe Hennessee for song number 3.
Okay, the next song I'm going to do is a cover called Banana Pancakes by Jack Johnson, and his songs were some of my favorites when I was first learning ukulele. They're very like carefree and like happy songs and very like summery songs, so since it's the first day of summer, I thought it'd be a good one to play. Well, can't you see that it's just raining? Well, can't you see that it's just raining? You gotta wake up slow.
I love that song. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite songs.
So cute.
He's brilliant, Jack Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love him.
Fantastic.
Have you heard the live album that he put out where he sings with like Eddie Vedder and stuff? It's so good.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's.
I
that's
feel like
my
I have.
favorite.
Yeah.
They use Satellite. It's so good.
My
When did it
favorite
come
song
out?
I forget exactly, but it's on all the streaming services.
Yeah,
It's
check
just
that
one
out.
like it's from this festival out in Hawaii.
My favorite song of his is the one from the Curious George soundtrack.
That's such a good
Upside Down.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
That's a sick
It- it-
soundtrack.
It
the
is
whole
actually
thing
very
is
good.
really
yeah.
good.
Oh, he also has a non-set. He also has Rodeo Clowns. That's his song too, right? That's here. But well, enough about Jack Johnson. Chloe, how are you so awesome?
I remember you asked me this last live stream I went on. I was like, how the heck do I answer that?
Well, you've had a year to think about it. So do you
Oh,
have
I
any
still don't
clue?
have an answer.
That's a good
Uh,
answer.
All right. Take another year to think about it, and we'll have you back in 2023.
She just woke up that way, Phil.
I'm just hoping that if we keep inviting awesome musicians onto our shows, then some of that will rub off on us. So, always a treat to have you, Chloe.
Yeah. Very good.
So for those of you watching at home, this is the Songwriter Stream. Jason and I are here every month, the third Tuesday of the month. This is an online complement to an in-person event that we run on the first Tuesday of every month. Right now, our residency is at Mary O's, which is an Irish pub in the East Village here in Manhattan. Music at Mary O's, first Tuesday of every month, and then Songwriter Stream, third Tuesday of every month. So if you're in the New York, New Jersey area and you want more of what you see here, come see us live. In addition to those, we do lots of events all the time. My company, Roomful of Sky Music, we produce tons of these things all the time. Please sign up on one of our pages, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever you're watching on, and you'll hear more about what we do. All right, moving on, we have the third song from Heather Conrad.
Alrighty. I'm going to continue on this theme of love and loss. That seems to be what I write a lot about. This song is it's about being brave, about moving forward in your life, even if you're not sure how you feel about doing that. So it's called Learning to Fly. After the end is the place where you start. The ground where you stand is crumbling apart. There's nowhere to land as you're falling apart, wondering why. You feel like you're drowning, but find you can swim. Feels like you're falling, you let it begin. Tip over the edge and go tumbling into the sky. You're learning to fly. You're saying goodbye. You're learning to fly. You start letting go. You stop asking why. After the free fall, there comes a surprise. Gravity's only your fear in disguise. You feel yourself weightless, you let yourself rise through the sky. You're learning to fly. You're saying goodbye. You're learning to fly. You start letting go. You stop asking why. It's breaking your heart, setting free what's inside. You're learning to fly, saying goodbye, learning to fly. Not gonna lie, it's a little like dying, letting go of what's not meant to be. Leave it behind, 'cause there's no denying. Once the weight has been lifted, you see that you're finally free. Beyond expectation is where you belong, where everything's different, but nothing is wrong. Coming full circle, it was true all along. You could fly. You can fly. You're saying goodbye. You're learning to fly. You start letting go. You stop asking why. It's breaking your heart, setting free what's inside. You're learning to fly, saying goodbye, learning to fly, learning to fly.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Heather, before we move on to Jeremy, is there anything you would like to say about yourself or your music?
About myself or my music? I mean, I think I often have quite a lot to say. And I've already said a good deal. I mean, I guess I'll just say that as a songwriter, I'm generally I'm late to the game. I was a singer in the Air Force Band for years, and then I was an English teacher at a small university in the South. And then I moved to New York and did a lot of acting, singing, little sort of things. And then I worked at a hedge fund, and I still work at a hedge fund now, and I've done that for 16 years. And then I picked up singing in a cabaret and with a rock band, which is how I met you, Phil.
The Gully Hubbards.
And back to, what's that?
The Gully Hubbards.
The Gully Hubbards, that's right. I sang in a rock, kind of an Americana band for 3 years. And that's where Phil and I met when we shared a gig with his Bliss jockeys. And I've just kind of really been around the block 8 or 10 or 15 times. But music has always been a part of what I've done. I mean, music has been, sort of my first love from the time I was a child. But I didn't really kind of own myself as a songwriter until just a few years ago. And the first song I sang today, Girl He Needs, was the first song, like you, Chloe, you mentioned that your song was kind of the one that where you committed to songwriting. That was that song for me.
Wow.
The Girl He Needs was a song where I felt like I decided I was a songwriter, you know.
You know, and maybe all of us have that. I think I
Yeah.
have one of those.
Yeah.
It's just like, I've arrived, just like the Chloe song, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just that, so, I mean, I guess I'll just say that, you know, it's been quite a journey. But I'm still a young songwriter, but loving every minute of it, so
Well,
that's all I have to say.
Sometimes, you know, everyone's journey has its own shape, and sometimes when you begin something after having more of a wealth of experience, your perspective on it is very different than if you had been doing it from the earliest age.
I think that's
Sure.
really true, yeah.
You know, your songs are probably much more mature to begin with than if you had written them, you know, as a 15-year-old.
I think that's probably true, yeah. I just have different things to say, you know.
Yeah.
I'm also the mom of an adult daughter, someone who, like, Chloe, you're like, you know, my daughter is sort of your cohort. So I've got, you know, just, like, whatever, call it layers and layers and layers of different things. I guess maybe if at a certain point I finally felt like I had some stories to tell that belonged in songs, you know.
Wow.
So, but...
Heather is like an onion.
I will give you very bad breath. Yes.
Yep.
No.
All right, Heather Conrad. Well, stick around. We're going to have one more song from Heather to close out our evening once we make our way around the circle. But for now, please, let's return our attention to Jeremy.
Thank you, Phil. This is a song called Your Own Days. I was in the dungeon, I was never the king. I had the sword, but I was missing the ring. I had the shield, but it was made of wood. I was in the story, it wasn't good. Make the moon stay here. I looked in the desert, I got lost in the sand. I looked for a sign, I found a mark on my hand. I looked in the rivers, I swam out to sea. Despite my expectation, nothing happened to me. You make the moon stay here. You make the clouds rain here. Make your own days here. castle, soon they let me go free. I found my way to the forest, they let me be. I made my own story, at least it was true. I made my own days here, I made them with you. You make the moon stay here. You make the clouds rain here. You make your own days here.
Yeah. Jeremy, your finger picking is just so gorgeous. What are your favorite guitarists, or what do you feel like you're inspired by when you're writing, or when you start thinking about writing?
Well, writing and guitar are different, you know, because there's not that many people who are masters of both. A few, you know, Prince.
Sure.
But in terms of guitar, you know, I'm really influenced by traditional American music and bluegrass. So like Doc
Right.
Watson, I never heard that kind of music growing up ever. And then I heard it at an open mic night. A couple of girls came in and played Hand Me Down My Walking Cane and a Mississippi John Hurt song. And it blew my mind. And then I started listening to Doc Watson, and that just basically changed my life. And that's how I met Kat, and that's how I met the sheriff, and you know, got to play with Mark O'Connor and Chris Thiele and Michael Daves and people like that. So that would be on the guitar side.
Right. I mean, you think when you're a songwriter, though, you're an arranger of a guitar part.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Right.
Well, Doc Watson always said play the melody, you know,
Ah.
and that's what I try to think about.
While you were playing, I was just completely swept up in this whole world you created, and it's like with that song you tell so much of the story with the guitar.
Right.
I feel.
Absolutely.
Jeremy, are you like on Spotify, or do you have recordings of these songs out there?
No, I have a SoundCloud, and my biggest issue as a performer has been not being a great manager and self sort of promoter. So I'm trying to get better at that part. You know, and streaming and
it's challenging
Yeah.
for me too.
Well, yeah, that's yeah. For many musicians, we really enjoy or are good at and want to spend our time doing the music part, and have no use for any of the other peripheral tasks. But it's kind of required of us. We have to kind of
Exactly.
force ourselves or find somebody who will maybe do it on our behalf.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is that song? That's called. Was that called Your Own Days?
yeah, there's
Or-
a version of that on my Instagram.
On your Instagram.
Not with that guitar part though, so maybe that's my project for this week, is to get a version
Do
of
it, yeah.
that with that guitar part on it, since you guys seem to like it.
Well,
You got a
there
great
will now be a version
recording
of that.
rig. Oh, I'm sorry, Phil. What were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say. Well, there will now be that version with that guitar part on this YouTube
Oh,
stream
yeah.
now. So
Awesome.
Well, YouTube's great too, because you could give people a link to that specific point where you start a song. So it's
Oh,
actually
yeah.
good. Yeah, it's great. It's a great way to kind of promote it.
Cool.
well, that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Count me as a fan.
Appreciate it, Phil.
All right, that brings us to my turn. So this will be my third and final song. I think I'll do one last one. Jason will do one last one. and then we'll have our three guests. We'll have a bonus round with just the three of them, and then we'll close out the night. I did not choose, going into this, I didn't choose what my third song was going to be. I just wanted to see how I felt as the stream progressed. So now I've chosen, and what's today? Tuesday. So this weekend was Father's Day, and I had a very complicated relationship with my father. It was extremely challenging. My father had a very rough life. When he was 17, he lied about it. I was his midlife crisis baby. He was well into his 50s when I was born, and it was like he had his first family, and then he met my mom, who was almost 30 years younger than him, and then I came along, and my birth was a great controversy. And my dad had an unusual life. He never graduated high school. When he was 17, he lied about his age, and he signed up, joined the Marines, and he fought in World War II, and then in the Korean War. And then he saw all of his childhood friends killed in combat. And then he was a very rough man for the rest of his life. If he were alive today in a different time, we would probably understand him as having PTSD, but he did not think of himself in that way, nor did anyone who knew him. We just knew that stay the hell away from him because you're going to get hurt. So I had a very troubled youth, a very hard relationship with my dad, which involved cutting off contact with him for years at a time. And then, before he passed away 10 years ago, he actually genuinely changed, and I was able to have a relationship with him before he passed away. And so I have a very blessed life. I wouldn't change anything about the experiences that brought me to where I am. But my life has had a lot of depression in it. I was depressed for the first 20 years of my life. It took decades of therapy and introspection and reflection and creative expression to become a composed human being. And I posted a little bit about the story of my father on Sunday, on Father's Day. And then I was struck, like hundreds of people loved the post, and I think close to 100 people commented and said that it struck a chord, or that they related to it or identified it with it. And it just I don't know, I spent Sunday weeping, not because I feel sad of what my life had been, but just that my experiences connected me to so many people who had similar experiences. It was just a really beautiful thing. So if you look at my songwriting, I don't write songs to show off my great voice. I don't think I'm a particularly great singer, or how clever I am, or look at how good of a guitarist I am. I just, like, when I write a song, it's very therapeutic. It's a resource for me. It's my way of being in the world, making sense of my experiences. It's the thing that saved my life. When I was 15, 16, 17, I was introduced to music by Bruce Springsteen. He kind of kicked open a door in my head and in my life in which I had a void of father figures. Young 13, 14, 15-year-old me latched on to this idea of Bruce Springsteen as basically a father figure. I didn't have any good examples. I was like, that man is awesome. I want to be just like that. Not that I was conscious of that thinking, but it just struck me with such force. So here's a Bruce Springsteen song. The other inspiration that went into me wanting to do this song was tonight when Heather did her song with her high voice. And we were talking about Joni Mitchell. So this is me doing my high voice Bruce Springsteen song. This is called Stolen Car. It's from his 1980 album, The River. I met a little girl, we settled down in a little house out on the edge of town. We got married, swore we'd never part. Little by little we drifted from each other's hearts. At first I thought it was just restlessness that would fade as time went by and our love grew deep. In the end, it was something more, I guess, tore us apart and made us weep. I'm driving a stolen car down Eldridge Avenue. Each night I wait to get caught, but I never do. She asked if I remember those letters I wrote when our love was young and bold. She said last night she read those letters. They made her feel 100 years old. I'm driving a stolen car on a pitch black night, and I'm telling myself it's gonna be alright. But I ride by night and I travel in fear, and in this darkness I will disappear.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil, man.
That was haunting.
Thank you.
Well, you could tell it was just in you. Like, it was just... I'm sorry, Jeremy, what were you about to say?
No, go ahead. That's...
Yeah, it was just really coming from inside of you. There was no pretense there, you know.
Yeah.
And that's very valuable. That's great as a performer, as a writer, to be able to reach and get to that point.
Thank you. There's something about thank you. That's great. I it feels very positive to receive feedback like that, because that's what I often feel that when we encounter something in the world that we like so much, part of what drives that is that we recognize ourselves in it. It's like we're having all these experiences, and it's our way of learning about ourselves, you know. And I could talk about Bruce Springsteen for years, and I have, and I will, but that was how I just recognized so much of myself in his writing. And you know, it was when I was 18, I would sing that song to myself over and over and over again. It was just so deeply comforting. I don't even know why. Like there's no rational reason for it. And there's also performing. There's something about singing in that really high part of one's range, because it's a very vulnerable thing to do.
Oh yeah.
You know, like half the time I can't even hit those notes. So it's like I'm singing, I don't know if my voice will crack, I don't know if I will be embarrassed or whatever. So it's like almost this, like, I'm going to take this tender part of myself that I don't want to show in public. I want to like protect it and hide it and just do, you know, rugged, outgoing stuff. Use my man voice. But there's something about it that when you are in that high part of your voice, it feels really cathartic. Like it's just a joy to sing a song like that. Even if the song is not about something joyous,
Yeah.
it's the release and the catharsis is joyous.
You know, you almost sound like you're quoting Rilke, the poet. In the Duino Elegies, there's a part where he says, the joy we feel, but it's also he's talking about the catharsis that we feel, the emotional purge when a happy thing falls. Because we focus so much on the ups in life, but there is also a kind of joy to those sadder moments because they're so real. It's what makes us realize we're alive.
For sure, yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good,
all right,
deep
well,
stuff.
Thank you all for allowing me to take up so much space with my long introduction and my long exposition after the song. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No, it feeds into the themes that we've been talking about the whole night. So it feels very unified with what everyone has been singing about. And come to think of it, I think that was the best way to end the third set. I'd like for Chloe to go next, and I will.
You do not want to take your...
No, it's fine. I think it's a great way to end that train of thought, so to speak.
All right. So, all right. Well, we've reached the end of our 3 rounds around. This is usually the time where we tell you what we have coming up next. And what we have coming up next is we are taking July off. No Songwriter Stream in July. No Mary O's at July. I don't have any gigs. I know Jason has. Jason's doing some touring upstate with another band, right?
Yeah, enjoying we were talking about farmers markets. We're playing a bunch of farmers markets in the Catskills, some wineries, and yeah, looking forward to enjoying the weather and the folks up there.
So no streams, no Marios, no Roomful of Sky stuff going on in July. We're taking the month off to have lives. Well, I am. Jason's taking tour, and that. So now we'll have our little encore bonus round. Each of our three guests, Chloe, we'll go in the same order. Chloe, Heather, and Jeremy, and then we'll close off the night with your final three songs. So, Chloe, why don't you kick us off?
Okay. Really quickly, I just want to say thank you, Phil and Jason, for inviting me on. I'm very happy to be here with such talented musicians. Yeah, just wanted to say that. But the last song I'm going to play is an original called Tell Me About It, and it's just about, so it was my first year of college, and so, all my childhood friends were, not in New York, so I had to make all new friends and, just deal with, the realization of, people are going to walk in and out of your life, and, just all of that, so, yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Chloe.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And before we move on to Heather, Chloe, what is the best way for people to follow you? What is your preferred way for people to be your fans?
Well, I post the most on Instagram. You can just follow me at Chloe Hennessee, but I also post on Facebook, just not as often. So yeah, I guess Instagram probably.
And you're on Spotify under. Are there many Chloe Hennessy's, or are you the only one?
I'm like the only one that I know of, so should be easy to find.
Nice.
All right, very good. Chloe Hennessy, thank you so much for spending the evening with us. Check her out on Instagram, Spotify, Facebook, but not as often on Facebook. All right, Heather Conrad, you are up.
Oh, sorry, I muted her. She is now unmuted.
Hi. I'm gonna finish up with the song that is my daughter's favorite of mine. This one is, and this kind of harks back a little bit to the song that Chloe started with, where she was singing about one day at a time, and kind of, like, we don't know how things are going to turn out, right? So this song is just sort of a reflection on the mystery of the way time plays out in our lives, and how you never really, like, things can violate your expectations, but wonderful things can happen that you don't expect, and things can come full circle in unexpected ways. And this song is just about that particular mystery, and it's called "Where Do We Go From Here?" So I will give it to you here. So. Lovers come, lovers go. How could I have ever known what we would find, leave behind? A twist of fate, a strange reveal, transparent but you still conceal a storyline. That's just fine. Goes upside down. Time is coming back around. Moments, memories raining down. What's lost becoming found. Because the story's never ending. A new beginning's always near. Where do we go? Where do we go from here? Questions hold the answers. If you listen, you will hear. Where do we go? Where do we go from here? Where do we go? Where do we go from here? Thought I saw a spark in you, then darkness came to blind my view. I lost my way. It's okay. The earth will turn for endless days. Dawn is always on its way. It's never late, so I'll wait. Keep on spinning through the night. Carry me to morning light. Kaleidoscope, shift the view. Spiral back to you. Because the story's never ending. A new beginning every day. Where do we go? How do we find our way? The questions hold the answers. If you listen, you will hear. Where do we hide, a box I have to live inside. I'm free as air, breathe you everywhere. The story now, it's ours to tell. A crystal ball, wishing well. The pendulum is swinging home. We must have always known. Ooh, that the story's never ending. A new beginning, it starts right here. Where do we go? Where do we go from here? The questions hold the answers. If you listen, you will hear. Where do we go? Where do we go from here? Where do we go? Where do we go from here? Where do we go? Where do we go from here? Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go from here?
Woo!
A great way to end your set. Very nice.
Thank you.
Heather, I want you to record that song, and I want you to put it on an album, and I want it to be the last song on that album.
Yeah, it feels like a good last song, for sure.
Well, I guess this is a good moment for me to tell you that I have actually recorded that song this spring.
Yeah.
Along with the first song the song I started with, Girl He Needs. I got to record 2 of those this spring. They are still in rough mix, but once they are completely mixed and mastered, I will drop them somewhere, and I'll keep you posted, and I'll jump into what you might be asking me and say you can find me on Facebook, Heather Conrad. There's lots of us, but I'm handle HK Conrad. I am also on Instagram, HK Conrad. I don't post there very often, but maybe I should get better at that. So I'll consider this my challenge to myself to get better about posting on Instagram. And once those songs are released, I'll definitely be making them available on YouTube and on whatever other platforms seem to make sense. Maybe Spotify, maybe SoundCloud, maybe even iTunes. We'll see.
Nice. Looking forward
That's
to it.
funny. I heard you say that after you mix and master them, but I think what you meant to say was after you lay down some harmonica licks on your songs and then mix and master them, then they'll be ready for...
It certainly could be. And Phil, I sang all my own backup vocals on this, so there's like a mad chorus of Heathers singing,
Oh.
Where do we go? Where do we go?
Wow.
Like layered all in. It would be harmonica would I think fit nicely in that.
What? One Heather is a lot.
Right?
There's never enough Heathers. There's never enough. Hey,
Heather,
I want to
it's
share
Heather's
some.
turn.
I want to share something with all of you that Ruth Trenery had written about 10 minutes ago, and it was just a very sweet thing that she wrote, and you know, it definitely was a theme to everything we did tonight, and we shared our hearts to the crowd here and to each other. So I just want to congratulate everyone who's a part of the stream. Really enjoyed it, and I'm glad she enjoyed it too.
Yes,
thank you, Ruth, and
Yeah.
thank you, Jason, for pointing that out. Before we conclude the night officially with Jeremy's final song, I realized we forgot to do something, which was take the group photo. So let's do that. So this is actually typical of a Roomful of Sky event. We usually feature a multitude of artists, some old friends, some new friends, and we always take a group photo. And when we do the online version, it is a group screen capture. So I'll take a couple of these,
Thank you, Paul.
Is everyone
for the
looking
night.
beautiful? Thanks, Paul.
All right,
All right,
I gotta
let
get
me
the hair out of my face.
Let me
Yeah.
save that.
So everyone on the top, make sure you just go down a little bit, just because the top of that songwriter stream overlay will cut off a little bit. So.
All right, let me do one more. Okay, I think we got it. And without further ado, we'll give it over to Jeremy for the final song. And then after Jeremy will say goodbye, Jason's going to turn the stream off. But our three guests, don't disconnect right away. We'll say goodnight in our little backstage area even once the public stream is turned off. So, final song of the night, Jeremy Ain.
Well, thank you again to Phil and Jason for allowing me to be here, and thanks to Victor for asking me to fill in. I think it's only appropriate that I break Victor's own rule, which is to end with your own song, just because I can break it since he's not here. You guys were asking me who I really have been influenced by, and in songwriting, I grew up, like many people, listening to a lot of Dylan, but the person in the last period of my life that's been of most influence would be Townes Van Zandt. And it's not often you can say that somebody writes a perfect song, and for a long time, if you had asked me what my favorite song was, I wouldn't have been able to answer. But I can safely say that this is my favorite song, and it is called Tecumseh Valley by Mr. Townes Van Zandt. The name she gave was Caroline, a daughter of a miner, and her ways were free, and it seemed to me that sunshine walked beside her. Well, she come from Spencer, up on the hill. She said her pa had sent her, 'cause the cold was low, and soon the snow would turn the skies to winter. She said she'd come to look for work. She was not seeking favors, but for a dime a day and a place to stay, she turned them hands to labor. Times were hard, Lord, and the jobs were few. Through Tecumseh Valley, but she asked around, and a job she found tending bar with Gypsy Sally's. saved enough to get back home. When the spring replaced the winter, but her dreams were denied. Her pa had died. The words come down to Spencer. So she turned to whoring out on the streets, with all that lust inside her. And there was many a man who returned again, just to lay himself beside her. Found her down beneath the stairs that led to Gypsy Sally's. And in her hand when she died was a note that cried, "Fare thee well, Tecumseh Valley." She gave was Caroline, a daughter of a miner, and her ways were free, and it seemed to me that sunshine walked beside her. Thanks, you guys.
Of course.
Fantastic, Jeremy. Jeremy, do you have any final words you'd like to say?
Just that gotta figure out some way to stop all these shootings in the schools, and it takes listening to both sides, because calling names and talking about how ignorant everybody isn't going to change anything. We got to listen to each other and fix this stuff. So
Yeah. Well, I think the arts, and especially songwriters and people we try to see all sides, right? When we write, when we do what we do, because everything is valid. Every human being is valid. Everyone deserves to have an opinion, and even if we don't agree with it. And so it's a tough situation out there right now, and I agree with you. I guess that's all I was saying.
What a wonderful night. I know that a lot of us musicians started doing live streams with the pandemic, and then now that people are doing live shows, people aren't doing streams so much anymore, but we decided to keep this going as a monthly series, even though we're all kind of performing live. Every time we do one of these, I just really do feel transported to with the five of us, all of our songs. I felt like we just hung out all night.
There's definitely an intimacy about it, for sure. Definitely.
Totally.
Geography be damned.
Exactly.
This was a unique moment in time, and the first thing I'm gonna do when we turn this off is I'm gonna go and follow the three of you in all the places, see which songs Jeremy has on his SoundCloud.
not much.
Not much,
Unfortunately. Working on it, though. That's my project. You guys
Good.
gonna feel accountable to this moment. So.
Very good. And all of you, I know Chloe and Heather, you're in the New York, New Jersey area. Jeremy, if you return, you all have an open invitation to be part of any of our in-person events or our
That'd be
streaming events.
wonderful.
So if you ever want to get involved in something again, just reach out, and we will be happy to have you back.
Cool.
Thank you, Phil.
All right, so thank you to our guests. Thank you, Jason. Thank you to all of you viewing at home. If you enjoyed tonight's stream, this video is going to live forever on the Roomful of Sky channel on YouTube and on the Roomful of Sky page on Facebook. So if you missed one of the earlier songs, or you want to revisit one or share any of tonight's performances with any of your friends, it's going to be very easily accessible. And thank you all for spending the night with us. Have a great July, and we will see you back here the third Tuesday of August. All right. Good night.